I want to go backwards. I want to talk about rule number 7.
Yeah.
Pursue what is meaningful, not what is expedient. You write in the book, there is no faith and no courage and no sacrifice in doing what is expedient. What do you say to those viewers that don't pursue their dreams and are locked in their careers because they are too afraid to take risks and pursue something meaningful?
Well, the first thing I would say is, well, you should be afraid of taking risks and pursuing something meaningful.
Hello, I'm XT, and this is A Moment with Ecstasy. To all of the MGTOW community and everyone else who might actually hear this, I would like to extend a very happy new year, 2019. And certainly I hope that regardless of where you are in the world, that you are pursuing what is meaningful and not what is expedient. And that is from Jordan Peterson's book, which I have not read yet, and I will, but I've certainly consumed quite a bit of content involving Mr. Peterson and his incredible insight and wisdom as a clinical psychologist as well as a professor. I have nothing but respect for the man, and quite frankly, a lot of the things that he talks about I have learned by rote over my 5 decades on this planet. But it's always just a joy to listen to an articulate, intelligent man who can form his thoughts on the fly and impart some really important stuff. I'm going to include some clips during this video with regards to an interview he had in Iceland. And it's specifically on the subject of pursuing what is meaningful and not what is expedient. Something that I'm applying to my own life, because in my desire to create the XT Files and this YouTube channel, I acknowledged in my first 2 introductory videos that I was inspired and influenced by other YouTubers, and quite frankly, there's some amazing people out there that are doing what they do for reasons that, of course, they can only know themselves, but is fairly obvious to me. And with that said, I felt that I wanted to join in and contribute. And which is why this particular saying by Mr. Peterson is so important to me, because it really resonates.
But you should be more afraid of staying where you are if it's making you miserable. It's like the first thing you want to do is dispense with the idea that you get to have any permanent security outside of your ability to contend and adapt. It's the same issue with children. It's like you're paying a price by sitting there being miserable. And you might say, well, the devil I know is better than the one I don't. It's like, don't be so sure of that. The clock is ticking.
Yeah,
and if you're miserable in your job now and you change nothing, in 5 years you'll be much more miserable and you'll be a lot older.
We live in a world where it feels like we're always running to catch up. The flow of information is so incredibly fast and pervasive and just everywhere that it feels like the world is passing us by. In my world, in my view of it, it really isn't. The only difference is that we have technology that now allows for this type of world. But doing what's meaningful requires one key thing, among many, of course, and that's patience. Patience with yourself, patience with the system that we live in, and in addition to that, motivation and a burning desire to actually pursue something that has meaning to you.
But isn't it a luxury to pursue what is meaningful? Our viewers have mortgages, they have children, they have payments and loans. It's a luxury to pursue because we lack the resources.
Well, I don't remember now, I'm not talking about what makes you happy. It's a luxury to pursue what makes you happy. It's a moral obligation to pursue what you find meaningful. And that doesn't mean it's easy. It might require sacrifice. If you need to change your job too, let's say you have a family and children and a mortgage, you have responsibilities. You've already picked up those responsibilities. You don't just get to walk away scot-free and say, well, I don't like my job, I quit. That's no strategy. But what you might have to do is you think, well, this job is killing my soul. All right, so what do I have to do about that? Well, I have to look for another job. well, no one wants to hire me. It's like, okay, maybe you need to educate yourself more. Maybe you need to update your curriculum vitae, your resume. Maybe you need to overcome your fear of being interviewed. Maybe you need to sharpen your social skills. Like, you have to think about these things strategically. If you're going to switch careers, you have to do it like an intelligent, responsible person. That might take you a couple of years of effort to do properly.
And let me really kind of stress that, as it was spoken about in this interview, that does not mean happiness, although I find that it's possible that if you're doing something meaningful, that you derive happiness from doing something truly meaningful. And for many people, that can be a consistent and regular act of altruism. Helping others usually is at the core of most of it. Doing something useful for the human race. Not only are you helping others, but in a very real way, by uplifting others, you uplift yourself. That is meaningful. And that's really what Mr. Peterson's trying to do. And honestly, when I think about my own actions over my lifetime, that's always been a common thing. And I'm rather proud of that fact. I'm not Mother Teresa by any stretch, but yeah, I want to help out. And I want to help myself. And so with that said, I wanted to go on and mention that I haven't produced any videos in the past few weeks because, well, the holidays for one. Number two, I'm actively seeking work and trying to find some equilibrium after I've landed back in the United States, which is why this is really an addendum to my first A Moment with Ecstasy, which was called My Red Pill Highway. And as a result of that, I'm taking the time to improve my skills, learn, research, and do the other activities that are getting me to a place where I can do my work. And I thought that it would be a good idea to be genuine about that and honest, and simply convey that here on my channel, which is still a fledgling channel. I mean, I've only got over 100 subscribers, and by the way, I just want to say to those of you who are, I'm glad you're here, and please share my content, because I am going to grow this channel. It's not just I want to, I will do it. You know, I'm going to keep chipping away at this. And that is the message to those of you who might be thinking of doing something yourselves. You have to start doing it. It's not going to be pretty at first. It's not going to be perfect. But your willingness and your drive to see something through, trust me, it's going to feel great. And you're going to be constantly improving yourself. This is what I'm doing. And it does feel good. This is part of the red pill existence. Once you understand that you have more agency in this life, and that, you know, you can really choose to do what you want to do, then start testing those waters. It's like built up potential. Don't waste it. Use it. Test it out. You'll be surprised. You know, and another thing, as I've mentioned in another previous video about approval of others, never mind. Don't listen to naysayers. Don't listen to people telling you you should do this, you should do that. Remember, all the advice you're going to get, even from guys in MGTOW, you know, some of them are going to have ideas about what other people should be doing. Well, they're kind of tending other people's gardens instead of their own, aren't they? And it's not that they're not well-intentioned, it's just that they're going to give you advice through the lens of their own experiences. And yes, there might be some match up there might be some, oh yeah, I agree with that. But everyone's circumstances tends to be unique to them. And it doesn't even matter where you are in the world. I've been around to many countries on this planet, and I can tell you right now that the costumes are different, but the play's the same, pretty much, you know. So that said, I just want to let everyone know that I've got more videos on the way as I'm trying to find a place and a little bit more income, because I'm really not doing well right now. But I'm still here, and I'm going to still be cranking them out. So I wish everyone well, and here's to the horror and wonder that will be 2019. Remember, it was just a year change on the calendar. Many of the problems that were in 2018 are going to keep right on going here into 2019. So let's do our part and try to make it, a better place day by day. I'm going to end the video with a final clip from the 26+ minute interview taken by Thordarson, I hope I pronounced that right, from Iceland's Channel 2. I recommend having a watch of it. A link is in the low bar below. Be well, my MGTOW brothers.
When you say pursue something meaningful, is it important to have a vocation?
I think it's more important to have an ethos, an ethic. So I have a program, for example, called the Future Authoring Program, which is a writing program that enables people to develop a vision for their life and then to develop a strategy. The first thing that you want to do is figure out, imagine you were taking care of yourself, like you were someone you cared for, which is rule number 2, by the way, essentially. Then you should figure out, well, if you could have what you needed and wanted, what would it be? What sort of friends would you have? What would your family relationships look like? How would you conduct yourself with your children? How would you educate yourself? You need to think through how it is that your life could be properly arranged if you had that ability. And then you can aim at that. And the funny thing is that if you do posit a goal of that sort and work towards it, you will move towards it. The goal will change because you'll learn things along the way, but things inevitably get better for people. So it's not a luxury, it's difficult. It's a moral responsibility, and it isn't happiness. It's not, the pursuit isn't for happiness.
It's a moral responsibility to pursue what is meaningful.
Absolutely.